Durag Diaries. It looks like João PALHINHA deal will be sealed in the coming days. Florian Plettenberg has just released the news, an exclusive, to let us know that João PALHINHA is on the verge of joining Tottenham Hotspur on loan. Negotiations are advanced. Only final details remain between PALHINHA and Tottenham. An agreement between FC Bayern and Tottenham is almost complete. Contract with Bayern remains valid until 2028. So you can see there that Spurs may be finally getting that that defensive midfielder that they have been crying out for so long. And I say they, I mean me. I've been crying out for a defensive midfielder for far too long now. João PALHINHA is exactly what we need. Now, some fans felt the need that we needed a deep-lying playmaker. Yes, in some sense, we do need a player that can create from deeper and not just in those final third or up in the opponent's half. We need somebody that could play it out from the back. Now, João PALHINHA isn't the most well-versed player with his on-the-ball ability. He's not known for being amazing on the ball. But one thing that Spurs have absolutely missed, and I would go as far to say we've not had a player of this type for the last 8 or 9 years. Since Wanyama left Tottenham, we've not had a ball-winning destroyer-type midfielder. For me, when you're looking at PALHINHA, he's one of the best ball winners, not just available right now, but one of the best ball winners in Europe, straight up. When you look at his last season, obviously not at Bayern, there's really not that much data to take from his season at Bayern, because I think he only made around 15 to 20 appearances in the Bundesliga in total. I'm just seeing it here, 24 appearances in all competitions, and a lot of those came off the bench. So the data, when you look at his last season, there's not too much to take from it. But when you look at the data from his Fulham season, he just excels in so many defensive parts of the game. I've put up a comparison here just so you can see the slight difference between him and Bissouma and Bentancur, the two other defensive midfielders we have here. But the one thing that stands out to me, first of all, I don't even need to look at the graph, is these first two lines, duel percentage and possession one. He's in the 98.9 percentile for possession one. That means that he's one of the best players at intercepting, tackling, and winning the ball back. You really can't look elsewhere. Duel percentage at 90.9%. Jules, this guy is an absolute ball winner. That's what he does. You know, you name the game, that's what he does. It's the one thing he's good at, and that's what Spurs need from him. Now, if you look at the other facets of his game, he's not amazing on the ball. His carrying is pretty much next to nothing. He has no ball carrying ability, 0.4 progressive carries. He's always moving on with his passing. Forward passes, again, not the best, but what he does is he wins the ball. He wins the ball back, and that's what we will need from him. So I think this will be a great loan. And the fact that this is a loan is what makes this deal better. We all know we have players like Archie Gray coming through the ranks. And if you haven't seen already, please watch the videos on Archie Gray, the clips coming out, because it's relevant to now, quite frankly, because João PALHINHA coming to Spurs is going to stop Archie Gray from having minutes in that deep defensive 6 role. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to have a future at Tottenham. This is only a loan. It'll probably be a 1-year loan with no obligation to buy. Maybe an option on the end of it, but definitely no obligation. He's currently 28 years old, so he's not an old player. He's not completely old, but he comes with maturity and leadership and experience, something that this Spurs squad lacks heavily. He's also played quite a lot at the international level for Portugal, so if you want to add that into it, that also helps. But he's somebody who's calm under pressure and can step up in those big moments. For so long at Fulham, he was the player that led them, the player that stepped out from them, that just sort of led by example in some of those bigger games, needing somebody to really step up and show out. He was that guy. But when you look at the potential tactical fit for what Spurs need in this system, watching that Arsenal game, it's very clear to see that the midfield is very different from that of Ange's midfield. It's not so chaotic. We don't play with such a high line. We always had 4 defenders behind our midfield, and the pivot isn't so, it's not so everywhere. You got 2 players that sit flat in front of the defense, and what you'll probably find with PALHINHA is he will sit a little bit further back, allowing that other midfielder with a little bit more freedom to push up and expand the game at times. So he'll allow the fullbacks to push up a little bit higher too, because obviously we saw the overlapping fullbacks, Jed Spence and Pedro Porro, both taking advantage of those situations. But with PALHINHA there, being able to come in, sit in front of that back line, you've just got an extra man to shield that defense. Really good at breaking up counter-attacks as well. That's something that I feel like he really excelled at Fulham. So it gives more creative freedom to a player like James Maddison, a player like Kudus, a player like Kulusevski, who when playing in front of them will be able to just not track back as much, be able to not get involved in certain battles, be able to know that when they're coming back, they can take that little bit extra risk. They've got PALHINHA, they've got a ball winner there. So when I look at this deal, I can only see the positives in this deal. I can only see this deal working out across the next year, especially with it just being alone. There really is a lack of risk for Spurs in this deal. And it's going to be so refreshing to have a player of his type in our team, to have a player who can break down the play, have a player who can add that tenacity, that grit to just get through those challenges. And to be fair, I know some people don't feel this way, but I think we need a bit of pricks in our team. We need somebody who's going to get loads of yellow cards. We need somebody who's going to, clatter into a player at times. Bentancur has that. Bentancur has that ferociousness about his game. I think we need a few more of those players. So João PALHINHA, he's going to bring that to Spurs. And look, if for me, I think he's going to be the perfect complement. So whether it's a Bentancur, whether it's a Bergvall, or another player that comes in, he'll complement that midfield amazingly. So João PALHINHA, the midfielder that people have been asking for, the deal might be done in the next 24 hours. So keep a lookout, keep watching, and yeah, man. Look, people, we are on the road to 5K, so I'd appreciate if you can subscribe, show your support, tap the post notification bell to stay up to date with all other transfer videos. Smash the like button, and yeah, man. Until next time, it's your boy Durag Diaries. Goodbye. God bless.